Hey gang, it's Chris from eCoustics, and we're here at AXPONA 2026 in the Paradigm Suite, and we just listened to some pretty incredible sounding tower speakers, and we're going to ask Kyle from Paradigm to tell us a little bit about what makes them special, particularly at the price point. So,
yeah, I mean, like you said, these are incredible, and this is the first time outside of our factory that they've ever been seen or heard, and that's why you guys loved us so much. You gave us this best in show.
Yes, we did.
So, pretty incredible there. But this is the new Premier V2 range. So this replaces the outgoing first version of Premier Series. And what you'll notice about the speakers next to me is we have a ton of trickle-down technology from our Founder Series that we launched in 2022.
Which sell for up to $9,000.
Up to $9,000, yeah. So, you know, an incredible amount of technology was developed during the Founder Series, and now it's trickled into the Premier V2. Okay. So you'll notice a lot of things across the speaker. One is we use the PPA lens technology on the tweeter. Okay. That's ALMAC. So that's aluminum magnesium ceramic. And that gives us crystal clear high frequency detail. Okay. That extra ceramic layer on the ALMAG gives us the ability to create higher breakup frequencies. So just better detail, better clarity, better dynamics. Okay. This is the oblate spherical waveguide, also a trickle down technology from the Founder Series. That helps us place these in any environment, especially modern rooms. So I live in Florida. We have a lot of hard surfaces. We have tile floors. We have floor-to-ceiling glass windows. Yeah. And in my case, it's a concrete block home. Oh, so a lot of reflectivity. And what this does is it helps to manage that first reflection so it's not as intense at the listening position. Okay. But you still get all the detail, you get all the clarity that you want from the top end.
So the dispersion pattern is controlled.
It is. Okay. Yeah. So we're making sure that you're hearing every instrument, every artist you love without any fatigue. I mean, you guys were listening in here. We were listening at loud listening levels in this hotel room. And they just sound smooth and effortless.
So you got ALMAC. And then you got ALMAG, right? So what's the difference?
Yeah, this is aluminum magnesium on the mid-range driver, the mid-bass driver if it's a two-way bookshelf model. And that gives us seamless transitional properties we love. So again, when you're listening to your favorite artist, a lot of their vocal range comes from the mid-range and from the tweeter in this three-way design. And it gives you full body between those two drivers. So it's a seamless transition from one to the next using similar materials. We don't need to utilize the aluminum magnesium ceramic on the mid-range, so giving us just the aluminum magnesium gives us the blend we're looking for. Okay. And that's why we do that.
Cool. And then you got a couple of woofers down the bottom.
We do.
Talk about those?
Yeah. So the woofers down at the bottom of the cabinet, that's also another trickle-down technology from the Founder Series. That's what we call the unibody carbon X cone. So it's a proprietary blend of carbon and polypropylene. Gives it that really cool pattern. I'm not sure if that can really be shown in the video, but that gives us strength. It gives us rigidity. Gives us that perfect pistonic-like bass behavior that we're looking for here in the room. And yesterday we were listening to some big tracks, and these play really big. When you're listening to them. And
so I noticed that the feet on these guys are pretty unique. What's the purpose? And can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, so these are our isolation feet. So that's another trickle-down technology from the Founder Series. And we're isolating the cabinet enclosure from the floor. So there's actually an isolation insert in this case between the spike going into the carpet and the outrigger feet themselves. So that gives you tighter bass response, smoother bass response, and overall just cleaner sound.
Is it made of something like sorpethane or some kind of inert material?
It is. Yeah. So it helps to absorb that energy that's transferring from the cabinet down to the lowest point at the floor. Right. And that gives us the ability to reduce vibration. So again, just adding better clarity to your listening experience.
Right. Better imaging is what we've seen from similar products that are like third-party products you can add on.
Exactly.
So, but they're included as with the purchase of the speaker.
With the floor standing speakers, yeah.
How many of the floor standings do you guys have?
So we have two.
And
so
they both come with the feet?
They do. Yeah, the 820F and the 720F.
Okay, cool.
The main difference between the two is you have two 7-inch bass drivers on the 820F, and then we have two 6-inch bass drivers on the 720F. These are very efficient loudspeakers. We're using Anthem to power them here in the room. Of course, you know, your favorite amplifier of choice, your receiver, your processor, preamplifier, whatever you've got at home, these will really shine. Yeah. The other really cool part about the bass drivers, just going back to that real quick, is this is now the third generation of what we call Art Surround, active ridge technology. That's a paradigm patented technology that helps to give us more extension into the room while creating clean and powerful bass.
Okay. Yeah. And what do they measure down to in your measurements anyway?
So here in this room, when we ran ARC, which is Anthem room correction, these were measuring flat down to about 18 hertz.
18 hertz?
Yeah. Typical.
I mean, it's a good
in-room
size
response.
cabinet, so I'm not, surprised.
Typical in-room bass response is 21 hertz on the spec sheet.
Okay.
But of course, depends on your room, depends on what you have going on in your system.
Right.
And using Anthem Room Correction to manage the low frequency response out of the STR that we're using here, we could see that it was flat all the way down to 18.
That's
so
pretty impressive.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, especially in a room like this. I mean,
in the hotel room. Yeah. So, we love them. They're also beautiful. That's another thing that we added.
It's a nice finish. What are the finish options? Is this the only one for now?
So in the floor standing speakers and the large bookshelf and the large center channel, we have the walnut finish you see here.
Yep.
We have black walnut.
Okay.
And we also have a piano black finish.
Okay.
Now on the smaller bookshelf speaker, the 120B and what we call the 520 LCR, we have a satin white finish. Okay. So we have a lot of finishes to fit in any home or environment.
And you mentioned the other speakers. So this is part of a whole line that includes home theater speakers. I'm a big fan of multi-channel.
It sure is.
So you have a center channel that's almost as big as this?
We do. Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty big center channel.
We love our big center channels here at Paradigm. We want you to feel like you're in that theater environment.
Okay.
So the 620C is roughly the size of this floor standing speaker.
But just the tweeter and mid-range arrangement is different.
Yeah, it is different.
Woofer on each side?
So what we have with the 620C is we have two passive 7-inch radiators. We have two bass drivers in that cabinet. And then we have a 6-inch mid-range driver that's acting as the waveguide because the tweeter is located centrally in the mid-range.
So it's concentric.
It is. And that gives us the ability to get great dispersion characteristics vertically, horizontally.
Okay.
And it acts as the waveguide because that's what we're utilizing inside of the floor standing speakers as bookshelf speakers for that better listening experience in any room or environment.
Now, when would be the first time we or anyone might be able to hear them?
Yeah, the first time you'll be able to hear them is in a multi-channel system is June of 2026. So we're going to launch
when they're delivering, but is there a show or
correct
might coincide with that or not?
We don't have a show coming up to that that's going to have a multi-channel system on display, but as local dealers begin to get their inventory and they get their demonstration models out on the floor, we'll start seeing them set up in every configuration possible.
Right. And now if people want to get into the V2 line, the smallest bookshelf sells for what is it, about
$800 a pair.
That's incredible.
They're incredible. Yeah.
Even the bad boy here, $2,600 a pair?
$2,600 a pair.
Wow.
Yeah. Incredible value.
Really well done.
It is.
I guess you earned your mug.
And that's why we're in this beautiful mug. Yeah.
Awesome. We'd love to let you hear how they sound, but these demos don't usually work too well in video. So you'll just have to trust us and see if you can find them at your favorite dealer in June. And thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right,
Appreciate it.
Yep.